is by a artist called Nicholas Filbert Chandawanata. So he's Indonesian, and a lot of this colouring book is Indonesian inspired. You can tell just by the style of the drawings. They are very styled in that type of traditional. In terms of what I think of this book, the craftsmanship of how the book is put together is really nice. There is a certain level of graphic design and thought into how everything has been placed and put together, from the big A3 posters to the chapter dividers that are in this book. The paper quality is good, but it could be better. Because of the way the paper is chosen, you have to be very careful that you don't split the fibers in the page. Just because, I think it's because it's uncoated paper, and it's uncoated, but it feels like the paper fibers aren't that well compressed together. And so if you're working with a very sharp pencil, you could easily just damage the tooth of the paper, and it'll make it really hard for you to colour. So that's why I opted to do a lot of this in texture bases, followed by the pencils on top. So I really love the illustration style, and I like how his illustration style includes a lot of hatches. Once it's coloured, you don't really see much of those hatches, because the way that I colour is that I use a lot of my darker colours to create shadow where those hatches are placed. And so it's got that really nice style. Alright guys, this is the book. This is on page 76 of Eirene, and I have a couple books from Nicholas. This is one of the bigger ones that I have, and the more beautifully put together. It was very... You should check out the flip through I have on my channel, but you will know because there is a big A3 poster printed back to front. There are chapter dividers, there are just the way it's amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Check it out, check out my video, and buy the book if you can. So we're doing today's tutorial in Faber-Castell Polychromos. Now if you do not have Faber-Castell Polychromos, check out my substitution wheel. Okay, so I have done a substitution wheel package on my Etsy store, 29 sheets. They're coloured in as well with the actual pencil pigment, and then there are blank ones as well if you want to colour in your own. And then I have blank wheels with no codes at all that you could colour in with brands that I have not used. So for example, if you have a castle art, if you have a Crayola, you can also use my blanks. If you prefer using Crayolas to Prismacolor because you just don't like it, but you want to still follow this tutorial, you can still do that with my substitution wheel. So guys, check it out on my page, and check it out on my Etsy store. I'm sure you'll benefit from it because I've been getting some good reviews and a lot of people enjoy it. So let's get going. So this book is not so grayscale and not so just line work flat. There is a lot of hatching, and that's why it's not in black, so it's not in 100% black. It's kind of like an off black color ink. So these hatches help you as a guide in terms of shadows. So I want to go in a raw umber, which is 180, and I'm going to go in with a neutral brown to create some shadow. And the reason why, because I want there to be some warmth, but I don't want too much. I still want it to be kind of milky skinned. So where these hatches are, I'm just going to slowly go on with a light layer, especially this chin. Let's create the shadows beneath the hair, like so. And then definitely the neck. From what I can see, the skin color will only apply to this face area, as no other ligaments are in this piece. So it looks like she's in this beautiful Indonesian gown, in the clouds and wrapped in silk. It's very poetic. So as you can see where I've placed my pencils, the 180 has been lightly placed in these shadow areas, and what we want to do is go in with our pink, which is the medium flesh, which is the 131. Now, if you haven't followed my channel before, I like to work in undertones. I like to create shadow using color. And I think it's really important to teach you guys that you don't have to always use black, or you don't have to always use a darker color of skin color. You can always mix colors through layers. And so what you want to do is go in with these shadow areas, and you want to lay down this pink. We're going to place this in this shadow area near the nose and around the nose. These hatches really help you in terms of guiding where your shadows are being placed. You want to go over here as well, over that existing raw umber. Okay, now you want to go in with the blue. This blue is sky blue, which is 146. I like to use pinks and blues to mix together to make purple to create shadow. So I'm putting this typically where there is hatched work. We're working in small circular motions, and we're not pressing very hard either. We're keeping everything really light, really soft. Now I want to go in with cinnamon, which is 189. I want to go over all that color and blend it out. Then you want to transition it from your shadow areas to your highlight areas, and keeping those highlight areas quite bright, like so. You want to go over everything as well. So where there is a highlight area, you want to avoid that. You want to kind of just feather it out so it blends to that area, so it's still white. Next you want to go in with light flesh, which is 132. you want to go in now with an orange. This is cadmium orange, which is 111. We're going to create some warmth on top of this pink now. Placing it on the shadow areas in particular and fading it out. Next you want to go in with a light yellow, which is cream, which is 102. I'm going to blend out that orange that we had laid down. So I'm going back in with a light flesh, which is 132. Just going to blend some of these colors out. We're just going to blend out this color so that the pencil strokes don't look as harsh. And running this color over the cream. You want to go in with ivory, which is 103. This is where we just blend into our highlight points, like so. I'm going to go back in with the brown, which is 180. I'm going to go in with an even darker brown. This is 188. Back in with the medium flesh, which is 131. back in with the 188. Back in with that 131. I'm going to go back in with 132. Now I want to go back in with that cream, which is the 102. I'm going to go over everything with this cream color, and it's going to knock back that pink. I'm going in with 208, and this is a burnt umber. I'm going to use this to create shadow. But we're just going to place it on the colors that have been laid down already. And so these colors will still show through, but we're using this just to intensify the shadow and actually give it the color of, you know, the shading of the shadow of the skin. Gonna go in with that cadmium orange, which is the 111. We're going in with burnt ochre, which is 187. So let's talk about my first thoughts of this book. Because it is uncoated paper, I'm finding that it's not taking pigment as well as I like it. There's a lot of work that has to happen to get it to this point, and the thing I'm going to do about that is I'm going to use Texas as a base so I can have that vibrancy and that baseline color. So we're going to use Faber-Castell and Copic markers, okay? So I want to use a bright red, but not too red, because the way I like to work with bases is the color that I want to achieve, I'm going to use an ink color that is the color below that level, okay? So I want to achieve this type of red, but I'm going to baseline with this type of red. So the other red is what I'm going to achieve with pencil, but this is the base color. That's how I work. So you want to go in with YR09, and I'm hoping, yes. So this paper doesn't seem to bleed that much. What I mean by that is sometimes when you work with texture, it just absorbs it and spreads it out. It bleeds really easily, and you don't want that. You want something, you want ink that won't travel that. You want paper that is quite bleed proof, but the same bleed proof paper is very silk finish. And so when you're working in coloring books, it's really hard for artists to get coloring books right. They want it to be silk finish, but they also want it to be unmatte. So they've got to find that balance between the two. Not too silky, not too matte, or else it's not going to, if it's not smooth enough, the paper will just not stick to it, or the pigments of the paper will not stick to it. If you're working in cheaper color pencils, you're going to have to work really hard to get into this book. But I don't know. Some cheap pencils have a lot of pigment as well. So I think the first thing we want to do is just go in there with all the inks and just get our color down, and then we can build in shape. So with R02, we're going to color the lips. We're not going to color all of it. We're just going to color the parts that are hatched. Because I also want to use the paper tone as well. Like so. I'm going to run this also at the eyes and bring it out a little. And then where the tear ducts are as well. Y06, this is just yellow. We're going to color in parts that I believe should be gold. So let's zoom in. Going in with a YR23, the headpiece. Everywhere that has a hatch, I'm going in with this color. I'm working really quickly. Now you want to go with Y15, which is a cadmium yellow. You want to go over all that. I'm going in with that YR15. Alright, I'm going in with Carmen, which is R37. I'm gonna do this color. Now the way I like to use text is I kind of just paint them in. I don't really slowly drop in the ink because I don't want it to bleed. And I don't really want to let the paper absorb the ink too much for that it to kind of give it its mind of its own. I'm going to place this same color here. Now I want to go in with Blue Violet, which is BV08. Add this color here. I'm going to add this same color in these dark areas. B23, this is a Patho Blue. Let me zoom out if I can show you where this is going. There are some fabric pieces that have been wrapped around her. So I'm going to place it here. Here, and here, okay. And we're also going to drop it here in this corner. that's just Breezy in the background. You guys don't follow me. Breezy is my dog. He likes to sit in the room every time I do my tutorials. Going in with RV29. So with YR14, in with YR23, you want to go over the whole thing. Now you want to go in with yellow, which is Y15. Actually not Y15, Y13. I'm going to go in with VR09. This is a fuchsia. In with V06. V09. In with V04. Going with the yellow, Y13. I'm going in with RV29. This is R37. going in with that R37. Going in with Y06. So these flowers, I think will be I think they'll be orange with a yellow inside. So with the Y06, let's color the insides. In with your Y14, I'm going to color the petals of those flowers in this orange color. It's called caramel. Now, if you are coloring today because you're a little bit stressed and you just want to detune, let's refocus your thoughts and focus on the art piece. And all your worries and stresses, just let it go for now. Focus on the piece. Focus your energy on the piece and relax and let go of those negative thoughts that you're feeling, those worries in your mind and that negative inner voice. So today you're going to focus on this, and then when you are in a better frame of mind, you can address any of your stresses and worries. Today I too feel like I need this. I've been going through a bit of stress at the moment in my life personally, and I always find that art and coloring grounds me. And so today we're just focusing on our art, allowing our creative energy and our energy in general to pour out into this piece. Whether that is anger, frustration or sadness, we're going to let that seep into the artwork today. We're not going to bottle things up, we're just going to let them out in a healthy manner. Now, if you're up for it, if you want to think about those thoughts that are bothering you, you can do it in a safe space where we are right now, with your you being in control and addressing and talking yourself through what has been bothering you. So the YR14 is that camel color. We're just running it through. Again, as I said, we are doing this whole thing as in base with textures because I'm finding that the paper isn't taking in that pencil pigment that well. And Polychromos are very vibrant. They're very easy to put down onto paper. And so the fact that this isn't, the skin part took so long to achieve because of that paper type. Bases always work. Bases help you save time and strain in your wrist, and you don't want to, like, I was pushing in quite hard to build up that vibrancy and layer, and the reason why I'm opting for the texture bases is because I don't want to go in with my Polychromos and nick the paper and damage the tooth, because the pigments are not hitting down on this paper well enough as I'd like it, and so the bases work. So in any book that you ever find that your pigment is just not eating into the paper and is not as vibrant, and you have to press really hard to get any substantial color into it, try putting down a base of a light color first and then using your pencil to create texture and tone. Because the last thing you want to do is damage the tooth of paper, because once you do that, you can tear the paper and it can, you know, it can just look very bad. And paper should be very smooth and smooth or shiny depending on the finish that you like, but you don't want to tear paper fragments, so try not to do that. I missed a spot, which was the B23. You want to just fill in this area. Now, see these pieces down here? I'm going to mirror them up here. So, with the Y06, I'm going to color the back of this, because this looks like it's this but turned around. So I'm going to color that in this color. And with the same color, Y06, we're going to color this outer area like so. You want to go in with your dark purple, which is the BB08. fill in this area with the purple, and down here. With that Y06, we're going to fill in this bottom ring. With the Y15, in with the VR29, and then finally with the caramel, which is the YR14. Now here, towards the bottom, down here, I'm going to make those like this. So, with the Y06, I'm going to fill these in. And then here, I'm going to go in with a R37, which is the Carmen. This headpiece, I want to be bright, so I'm going to make it purple, which is Y06. We're just going to do this area as purple. The outer area will be like a bright red. Let's go in that red. I'm going in with a warm grey, which is number 9, so W9. I'm not using black because I don't want to. I want to keep it, I still want to be able to create some shadow later on. with the Carmen, which is R37, I'm going to fill this colour. And that is that collar wrapping all the way around. So up here, we're going to colour that black. Alright, I'm going in with B37 and I'm going to do the background sky with this. Alright, I'm going to change the fabric. Now I'm going in with fuchsia, VR09, or this like light blue. We're now going to go in with fuchsia, and that light blue is going to become a tone of purple because I'm going to mix it. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes we go halfway in and we say, no, this color would be better as this color. And so it's alright. It's alright if you change halfway, guys. That's the way of art, and you go with emotions. So do not feel you have to be nitpicky and critical of yourself if you do this. It is not a mistake. It is a change in the artistic flow. So not a big deal.
Sometimes when you're doing art, you have this vision and you have this thing planned out in your head, but halfway through you realize it can be better, it can be changed to give it a different look and feel, and sometimes that is the best way of going about art, because nothing can be planned and nothing can be too perfect. So don't be too perfect with your art, it will drive you insane. And so I'm doing this one color so it feels unified as a garment piece with the pinks, and it's just, this whole outfit is giving me Asian Chinese dramas where the chick in the dress flies across the screen and she flicks her wrist and the fabric just flicks out in this graceful way. And so that's how this is being drawn. And we're going to do the same thing over here. So like here, you don't see it, but my interpretation is that there's a piece of fabric through the back. So it's like flicked to the back and then it's coming around this way, okay? So because we put this base in order to mix this color, so B23, you want to add that here. I know most people would probably look at that and think, oh, that's just a bit of the cloud or a bit of the background. No, it's not. Sometimes, well, it could be if you want, but I think sometimes this, let your imagination just interpret what it is. And to me, this is a piece of fabric and it's giving it drama and movement in the piece. She's flicking it at her wrist and it's flowing everywhere in the wind and the clouds. You know, you get my theory. Okay, so the next thing I want to go in with is sepia E23. This is a brown. Okay, let me just zoom in the areas where I'm focusing in particular. These I am interpreting as trees, almost vines. Oh, vines. No, switching it up. See, this is what I'm saying. I thought I would do a brown on these vines, but I thought vines, green. We need green. We definitely need green. So this is a perfect opportunity to drop in a green. And that green will be that green will be a combination of yellow green, which is the YG03, and Nile green. Alright, so let me just get my bearings right. Parts of this vine have bark broken off. That's why I was going with brown, but I thought vines, green, I need green in here. So this is the perfect opportunity for me to throw in a green. So I'm just going to, we're going to kind of brush it on, a combination of the two. And then the pencils later will do the details. And this green is beautiful. It's giving me what I need in terms of color palette. this area with Y06. Y06, sorry, I just want to drop Y06 here. Okay, there you go. Back with that YG03. We're layering it up. I want that saturation. In with my Nile green now. This is G07. This one I'm not going to saturate as much. I'm placing this more on the shadow areas, if anything. And then I'm quickly brushing it up, like so. Shadow areas. And quickly giving it that flick. Going in with YG03, saturating that color. Going over that Nile green with this color, we're going to blend it out and just strengthen that green and saturate it all the way. Don't have to fill in the whole thing. Parts can be left white if you want. Alright, I'm going to go in with that dark blue, which was the B37. Missed a spot right here. Alright. And we did miss a spot here. Fuchsia RV09. Fill in this little part of the fabric piece that we missed. There we go. And then we're going to mix it with that B23. There we go. Eyes. What color eyes do I want? I want them to be like a brown. Let's zoom into the eyes. I think her eyes need to be brown. That will be like a honey brown. Let's go on with YR24. Now, where the white is, avoid those areas. We're going to keep those white as we can. I'm not colouring the whole thing. Oh no! That's alright, I can go in with Posca pen. I'm going to like not fill the whole thing, but just a little bit of glimpse of it hanging out. Now, there was a warm grey that I used. Warm grey, warm grey. Warm grey, where are you? Oh, here we go. Now, this is scary work, okay? So, with a warm grey brush, just going to I'm gonna also run this on the eyeliner area. Someone's dreaming. Bit on the lashes, not too much. The pencil will do mainly most of the work. Just do this so we can tight line the eyeliner, almost like so. Bring this into nostril areas, like that. Now, let me take a break and I'll come back, but I might color this ear. This ear, we want to go in with 180, like so. In with medium flesh, which is 131. So. $188. In with 132. $102, which is the cream. Triple one. And then I'm going to go in with the dark color. This is 280. Then in with ivory, which is 103. Okay, now in with the Y06. Where are you? There you are. Look, I gave her an ear cuff and a bit of a ear stretcher cuff thing, I guess. I want to put a little bit of this around this jewel, like so. Okay, so now I'm not done, definitely not done at all, but these are the bases, and then I want to go in with some pencil detail. I'll come back shortly. In with the black, which is 199. I'm just going to do some eyebrow strokes. You probably won't be able to see it in the camera, but because the Faber-Castells are quite hard, you can do a lot of detail with them. Now I'm going to shade the pupil in black. In with the black, I'm going to shade the nose like so. So we're just going to do the shadows around the mouth. You soften the mouth a bit so it doesn't look so harsh. Add some shadow under the lip and some at the cupid's bow. I'm going to go in with a burnt umber, which is 280. I'm going to create some shading around the eyes. I'm also going to do a sharp line around the eye as well, and this will really give it that kawaii look when you put a ring on the outside. And this is like really reflective of like the Japanese style of contacts. They always have a dark ring around it, and I never understood why. And I realized it's because the ring really just defines the eye shape, and it gives it that really, I don't know, like fake glistening look. So see that line I've done? It just makes the eye just pop so much more now. I want to go in with cream, which is 102. Just going to tap it a little outside the pupil. I want to go in with black again, which is the 199. I'm just going to strengthen the black a bit in the pupil and then tighten that eye line like so. Let's just give the bottom lashes a bit of a attention as well. Okay, let's zoom out. we're going to do the hair, and I'm going to go in with black first. So where I can see those hatches, I'm going to go in with the black, right? I'm going to shade it a bit. But at the same time, I'm also going to do some texture hair strokes. So it looks like hair strands. And that's going to apply it in all areas, in addition to filling up this with black and shading it. In with a 235. Then in with 232. And because you're using texture, the paper hasn't been burnished yet. So putting on these colors is very easy. You don't have to really work for it. Next thing you want to go in with is 230. back in with our black, which is 199. Going in with black. Going in with our next color, which is the 235. The next color is 232. In with the 230. Back in with the 199. Going in with the in with the 235. I'm going to also run that through the brows, give it a bit of dimension. And then you want to go in with your other color, which is the 232. Then in with the 199. Let's try and get those lashes defined. Going in with that black, putting shadow on the ear.
He is a great artist, and I'm not sure whether he's doing any more colouring books, but I know he is an excellent tattoo artist. So the book Eirene is a really lovely book, and this is my first time actually colouring in the book itself. It's because I just looked at this book and how it was put together, and I thought it was too beautiful to touch. And the embossed cover, the style of his artwork, the placement of his text, and the texture and choices of the paper used in this book. Although in terms of as paper for colouring, it's, I would say maybe it's a grade A-, because what you will notice is once you start building up the layers on the paper, and you start burnishing them and you start using a sharper pointed pencil, it's really easy to damage the fibers of this book, whereas most other books, the fibers are tightly pressed together, and the fibers in this page seems to be more, not as compressed as other books that I have in my kit. So it's not the highest quality, but it is not low quality at all. And if I was to show you on this book the final result, this is the final result, and it was done in textures and Faber-Castell Polychromos, and Because of the paper quality, I opted to do texture or ink as a base for this work. And the reason is because I realized when I was doing the face that the more pressure, the more I work on the paper with something sharp like a Polychromos pencil or anything else, the tip is hard enough, or the wax in the pencil is hard enough to damage the tooth of the paper. So that's one of the great reasons why we utilize ink as a base with textures with paper pencil on top to create some shading and structure. I love this book. I think it's really great, and I know you will too. I hope you guys have enjoyed these questions. Please don't hesitate to comment below, and if you have any requests or any feedback, please send me a message or comment below as well. My name is Tal, I'm from Shine Bright Design, and please like and subscribe my videos, and don't forget to press that notification button. I post content once a week, maybe sometimes twice a week, but please press the notification buttons and you won't miss out. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.